Well, let's listen to the introduction of what promises to be a great battle for the world's heavyweight title.
Introducing your main event of the evening, 2 out of 3 falls, 1 hour time limit for the NWA Championship of the World Heavyweight Division. Introducing first the challenger, 223 pounds from Houston, Texas, Gino Hernandez. In the red corner from Kansas City, Missouri, heavyweight champion of the world, Harley Race. Your referee for this title match, Rocco Lubin.
So this 2 out of 3 fall battle for the belt that you see around the middle of Harley Race, a belt that he has held since he defeated Terry Funk, and a belt that symbolizes the world's heavyweight title that comes down in succession from Frank Gotch and others at the turn of the century into the National Wrestling Alliance, the first group formed to standardize titles, rules, and other things concerning professional wrestling. But right now, Gino Hernandez, gorgeous Gino if you will, takes off after Harley Race in the style to which Gino is accustomed. And Harley made one mistake when he relaxed at the beginning of this battle. Gino on top, and Gino promises to carry this scrap to the champion, but Harley Race didn't earn that belt and hasn't held on to it by being a cream puff. He is rated as one of the roughhouse champions of the last several decades, probably since Wild Bill Longson held the title during the years of World War II. But Harley Race now is as tough a man to beat and as rough a man to beat as we have seen. So Gino, a youngster of 5 years experience, but that is enough to make a wrestler and to keep him where he knows the difference between a good move and a bad move. Gino on top, there's one, there is 1.5, but that doesn't count, and he wants a fast count. He wants that count when he's on top to come off there with rapidity. And Gino has rocked the champion right down into those red, white, and blue shoes of his. And the Gino on top, we could have a fall, except that the champion's foot is over the bottom rope, and the call is for the break. Gino, who knows the way that a fall to the floor can soften you up, decides to use those tactics to soften the champion and to keep him there. Gino is a man who right now is proving that when he said he wouldn't change his style against the champion, he would use the same tactics against him that he has used against his other opponents. There are a lot of people who freeze when they're in a title match and who change their way of wrestling because it's a title match. But Gino has right now shown that he is not going to be one of them. But then Harley Race has been champion long enough to not change under any circumstances. So Race moves in, and Gino now decides that perhaps moving away is going to put him in a better position. Harley Race met the ring post that time, but how hard he met it, I am not certain. The turnbuckle may have saved his shoulder. The leg is saving his chances of losing the first fall right now. But watch out for Race, because he is dangerous when he is on his feet, when he is on his back, when he is taking it, or when he is dishing it out. And Gino now tries to slice the head off the champion, but Race is making sure that he stays fairly close to the ropes, and his double use of his feet is giving him a respite, which he may need before things go very much further. Harley Race, who takes pride in that tough, hard head of his and who uses the headbutt as punishment in many occasions, sometimes coming, oh, 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 this could be it. There's one, there is two. Gino Hernandez found that ounce of energy from someplace and managed to come out on top. Or out from underneath would be closer to the truth. At least he got up to his feet again when some people weren't expecting him to. And we may have a split fall here. We've got Gino in the ring. We've got Harley Race on the floor. Now we've got Gino on the floor, moving around to get after Race, trying to make sure that he's going to use a pile driver. Oh, man. That means that Harley Race's head, with his feet up in the air and all of his weight pointing down, crashed into this hard floor here at the Sam Houston Coliseum. The challenger in the ring, gorgeous Gino Hernandez. People are always prone to root for the challenger, but in the case of Gino, they're willing to make an exception. Race has rarely heard people support him in the city of Houston. His career here has been a roughhouse one. It has been explosive, and this is no exception. But tonight, for the very, very first time, some fans are finding reason to root for him, but not Gino. Gino is trying to kick his head off and could succeed. Still tied up in the ropes, but now Race is fair game as he is brought into the ring. There's a back body drop and a solid one. And Gino climbs up looking for a way down. He drops in there to come across the chest and throat of world's heavyweight champion Harley Race. And look at Gino's exultation.
The winner of the first ball, the challenger, Gino Hernandez.
Gino has scored a win here in the first fall of this world's heavyweight title match. There are still 1 or 2 falls to go. This is a 2 out of 3 fall match. And Gino's expressions of joy up there are for the first fall only. We'll be back here in a moment after we have this word from the studio. Gino Hernandez is still pacing around that ring, still exulting, still trying to get be a cheerleader for some of the people in the audience who would howl for him, but they're howling at him. And Harley Race, as you see, with about a half a minute still left in the rest period between falls, there is a 2-minute rest period, and Gino Hernandez
30 seconds
is making the most of it. But Harley Race, for the first time now, has risen to his knees, and he is complaining about the pile driver on the floor of the Coliseum.
15.
So time is running down.
10.
In a moment, you'll hear the fans and the announcer count.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The bell.
Now, the second fall is officially started, and champion Harley Race is on the receiving end of the punishment from Gino Hernandez, and Gino was psyching himself up to move in on Race, and this is as tough a battering as we have seen Race take in many a moon. Oh! Gino is lucky. He hit with his chest. If he was up a little higher and hit with his midsection, he would have bent in the middle and his face would have hit the ring post, the top of the ring post. Now, as Race, the veteran champion, moves in, he has suddenly swung the tables not exactly in his favor, but at least he is not on the receiving end of the punishment. He's going to have to recover. He tried to come in there with a head dive, to dive down and headbutt Gino with the full force of his weight. And now Gino again manages to swing things around, and he's trying to bottle the champion up and keep his shoulders down. Gino is giving Harley Race more than Race is able to muster and give to him. Fists, elbows, and feet. Gino on top. And Gino wants to know why there was no count. And as he moves in on Race, he goes for the crotch hold, the lift, and the slam, and the drop in there with that same wallop. But Race managed to roll out of the way, and Gino hit the canvas with the elbow. Race has now survived that attack to be able to move in just a little bit more for an attack of his own. Gino on the floor here alongside of us. Here comes Harley Race out to take after him and to give him some of that outside the ring punishment that came his way. Crotch hold, he's going to lift him up, he's going to drop him down. Well, I'll be doggone. Now that's on the hard floor here at the Sam Houston Coliseum. The champion has stretched Gino Hernandez on the deck. Gino is just barely moving now, and Race is moving down there to grab him and to try to lift him up and put him into the ring. But then a little extra punishment perhaps is also in his plan. And Gino has just caught the ring post with his head, and that cannot do you any good. He comes back in the ring just a little bit the worse for wear, and Gino is caught. There comes the headbutt of Harley Race to try to follow up, and Gino's head has been split open. He is bleeding. He is catching. The referee looks now to see if he should stop this event, and that one just knocked Gino down to his knees. The fans now start to holler for the champion, which is a measure of what they think of Gino. But believe it or not, in a sense, that is a compliment to the toughness of this youngster who has had some tremendous battles in this very ring. Flying mare, and it splatters Gino on the canvas as Harley Race moves. But Race caught him not in a glancing blow, which he generally tries to do to minimize the effect on his own head, but he caught him in a solid blow, and Gino is stretched out. We've got Harley Race diving off the top rope. I'll tell you, there was a cue ball shot if ever I saw one, and he laid that hit in there.
The winner of the second fall, the champion, Harley Race.
World's heavyweight champion Harley Race now has managed to equalize falls. He has scored the equalizing fall here in this battle. There is still one fall to go, and that will be the fall that decides who will hold the National Wrestling Alliance heavyweight title. Harley Race is the owner right now. He's going to have to prove it in the fall that will be up and coming right after we have this word from the studio. Gino Hernandez bleeding badly from a blow that ran him right smack into the ring post. He hit hard. It split his head open. The blood is running all down his face and onto the mat. There is still a minute left in this, the intermission between the second and third fall here at the Sam Houston Coliseum in Houston, Texas, and the challenger is, you can see right now, is a little bit the worse for wear. It's how he gets up from that canvas that's going to tell the story. And of course, there is always the possibility that referee Branko Lubitsch could put a stop to this match because of the damage done to Gino's head. There are 30 seconds remaining. And there is a much battered man, but he has really been handing out punishment in great quantities to the world's champion.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And there is the bell. Now the start of fall number 3 as Harley Race moves in now to take a pot shot at Gino Hernandez. And this could be it. And Gino is belted down to his knees, but he bobs up again. Harley Race takes him with he's going for a back body drop. He didn't quite make it. And Gino Hernandez picks him up and drops him down. And now listen to those fans. They are screaming for Gino Hernandez. And the Hernandez cheers can be heard. There's one, there's two, and that was close, awful close. Gino Hernandez came close that time to pinning Harley Race for the third and deciding fall. But it is still one fall apiece, and this fall continues. But Gino now hears that strange sound. He hasn't heard it in years. People hollering for him to take over on Harley Race. Harley sprawled on the floor here alongside of us. The challenger coming out now, coming out and picking up a chair and belting him in the head. And this in retaliation for the drive into the ring post. And Harley Race has been splattered on the floor alongside of us. And the chair that hit him is... there's the ring post that Gino hit. So you can see the type of revenge he's trying to get. And Harley Race is sprawled on the floor here. And as Gino now is up in that ring, looking for worlds to conquer, the world is off on the floor here and bleeding badly. Harley Race, blood running down on his arms as he is on his hands and knees. First on one arm, covering his tattoos, and he rises up slowly. He has been hit on the top of the head with the chair. Gino gives him a rude reception and pounds him. The referee trying to get the action in the ring, and Gino goes to pull him over the ropes and in. Oh, a crashing drop, and Gino goes after him to dive. This is Gino's. There was his supreme effort. He missed his target, and the race fans suddenly erupted with a roar of approval. And Race moves in. He goes for the back body drop, and as he does, Gino gets him in. Whoa, and the Race went over the top rope, and Gino Hernandez literally got him up there for the drop down. And
2 minutes, 54 seconds.
He tried to drop him in the ring, and Harley Race went over backwards, hit the floor, and hit hard. And Gino Hernandez lost his chance at the world's heavyweight title on the automatic rule that if a man goes over the top rope, the disqualification is absolutely automatic. The referee has no alternative but to disqualify. Gino is brandishing the world heavyweight title belt. Some of the fans are screaming in his favor. Harley Race is still on the floor. They are trying to revive him, and the challenger running around there with the belt. The fans around the ring screaming that some of them that he should have it and some of them that he should not have it. The referee trying to tell him he has lost the match on a disqualification and to encourage him to hand over that belt. But at this moment, Gino Hernandez is trying to
explain an over the top rope disqualification towards the match and still heavyweight champion Harley Race.
Harley Race is still the world's heavyweight champion. Gino Hernandez trying to take the belt home with him. He is not about to move out of this ring with it. But now as Race comes into the ring, Gino Hernandez not only attacks him, but Gino Hernandez lays it in there, and he's hitting Harley Race with the belt and blasting him down to the canvas every time he even starts up. And Gino with a belt in hand steps out of the ring and heads in the direction of the dressing room. And up in the ring, wondering what happened, but still champion of the world is Harley Race.